In segundos, Jasmine Crockett shattered Greg Abbott's entire argument y no creerá su reacción. Every eye in the room locked on her. The tension was thick. You could feel it. The kind of tension that makes people hold their breath. Everyone was waiting. Everyone. Even the camera seemed to lean in. Boom, a silence so heavy it could have been cut with a knife. And then she spoke. It all started earlier that day with the controversial maps released by the Trump administration. Maps that weren't just numbers on paper. They represented power, influence, and control. Greg Abbott, confident as ever, had prepared his talking points. He thought he had it all figured out. Pero no sabía que Jasmine Crockett estaba lista para confrontarlo, ready to question every assumption. She wasn't just challenging him, she was exposing the flaws, the holes, the contradictions. People in the room could feel the stakes. Reporters shuffled nervously. Murmurs passed through the crowd. This wasn't just a debate. It was a showdown. Every phrase mattered. Every pause could be the difference between domination and humiliation. Jasmine stepped forward, her posture calm, her eyes steady, her voice composed yet sharp. That calm, deceptive calm, the kind that makes an opponent second-guess every word. And then she asked the question. A simple question, but loaded with power. Governor Abbott, can you explain why these maps ignore the clear constitutional guidelines for representation? Her voice didn't shout. It sliced through the tension like a scalpel. And the room, it reacted. There it was, the first crack. Abbott tried to recover, tried to throw a deflection, but Jasmine's question wasn't just a question. It was a mirror reflecting every flaw, every corner cut, every assumption ignored. Seconds passed. Then came the pause. That pause, the kind that makes people lean forward, the kind that makes cameras linger, that makes the room quiet. In silencio, the only sounds were heartbeats, pens scratching, whispers of disbelief. And then she leaned in slightly, just a fraction, and said the line that would break the debate wide open. You've presented these maps as fair, pero la realidad es que they systematically disadvantage communities that have historically been underrepresented. Boom, destroyed, gone. The words hung in the air. And you could see it. The moment Greg Abbott realized the weight of what she just said, his confident smirk faltered, his prepared answers stumbled, and every person watching felt it, the magnitude of the takedown. Twitter went nuclear immediately. Explosive headlines. Jasmine Crockett calls out Abbott. Stunning. People shared clips in seconds. Memes started to form. Even journalists paused mid-reporting, replaying the moment in disbelief. Did she just? They whispered. Yes, she did. And it wasn't just the words. It was the delivery, the composure, the precision. Un golpe perfecto. A perfect strike. But let's rewind for a moment, porque esto wasn't an accident. Jasmine Crockett didn't stumble into this moment. She built it. She prepared every line, every pause, every rhetorical device. She knew the facts, understood the law, and read the room like a master strategist. And the result? A blow so effective it left even seasoned politicians reeling. Abbott opened his mouth to respond, and yet nothing landed. Every counter was weak, forced, predictable. Her calm didn't just dominate the room, it made his attempts look desperate, and the audience noticed. Audience murmurs. Some whispered, some shook their heads, some silently mouthed the words, impressive, unbelievable. Every second, the tension grew. In segundos, Jasmine Crockett had turned the debate into her domain. And here's the part that really gets you, the suspense. Because Abbott wasn't just facing a tough question, he was facing accountability. The kind of accountability that comes when logic meets charisma, when preparation meets nerve, and when words carry weight. And Jasmine, she had all three. The room's reactions were priceless. A subtle shift in posture, a brief hesitation, eyes darting, fingers tapping nervously on papers. Every subtle movement screamed, "This isn't going as planned." And she noticed it. Porque una gran estratega sees everything, every misstep, every crack, every opportunity. And then came her follow-up, a gentle yet devastating reminder. It's not just about legality, it's about fairness. It's about people. Y no podemos ignorar la verdad. Boom, stunned. The echo of that statement lingered. The weight of the message pressed down on everyone in the room. Even the reporters, seasoned veterans of political drama, leaned forward in disbelief. And then she leaned in. The power of composure, the power of clarity, the power of truth delivered calmly, deliberately. Because when you control your emotions, when you anchor yourself in facts, when you speak with both conviction and respect, you dominate not through aggression, but through mastery. And Jasmine Crockett mastered it perfectly. Abbott tried one last defensive maneuver, but it was too little, too late. Her words had already set the narrative. Social media exploded. Memes, clips, analyses, everywhere. Her line was replayed, dissected, celebrated. In seconds, she demolished his argument, the headlines read. And people weren't just talking about it, they were feeling it. The kind of impact that changes conversations in living rooms, offices, newsrooms across the country. Now, let's analyze why this landed so perfectly. First, her legal reasoning was impeccable. Every word referenced constitutional principles, historical context, and factual accuracy. No fluff, no vague claims. Second, her emotional intelligence was unmatched. She recognized the tension, the audience, Abbott's own strategy, and countered it elegantly. Third, the delivery. Calm, controlled, clear. Every pause deliberate, every word weighted, every echo memorable. And here's the kicker. Because she didn't just rely on law or emotion, she combined both. Knowledge and composure, reason and heart, logic and heart. And that combination, that's what makes someone not just a debater, not just a politician, but a force. Una fuerza imparable. People watching couldn't look away. Even skeptics found themselves nodding. Even Abbott's allies felt the sting of truth. Every reaction reinforced her dominance, and the room forever changed. Every discussion afterward referenced that moment. Every analysis cited her clarity. Every social post celebrated her brilliance. And now, as we close, remember this. This wasn't a moment. In segundos, Jasmine Crockett changed the room forever. A ton of magic. She didn't just ask a question. She made a statement. She set a standard. She shattered expectations, exposed weaknesses, and stunned even the most confident. Comment below if you think she destroyed him. Subscribe for more courtroom takedowns. And never forget, composure, preparation, and courage. That's how you change the game. Así es como se gana.